Hello, welcome to another tutorial video. Just want to remind you of the Help Me Mr. Davies channel, which is got these 5 tips for writing and then another thing about 6 common mistakes, which are brilliant resources. I really recommend if you want to improve your writing, please go there and check it. And also because he's done it so well, I don't have to do it, so it'd be really good if you can go and watch that and like and subscribe and whatever else you feel taken to do. But yeah, Help Me Mr. Davies, really good stuff on there. So back to our tutorial video. What we're going to be looking at now is question 3. Now this is our inference question. We're trying to understand what's being said between the lines. So for this we're going to be reading, obviously, and understanding the text, making cross references, selecting material appropriate to purpose, and we will be looking at the effects achieved, and the effect and the engagement they actually have on the reader, and we're going to support it with detailed textual references, and we're going to be explaining how well the writer uses linguistic or perhaps structural features to grammatical features to actually make that happen. So this is our inference question. We are trying to infer what is being said before. We're trying to infer what's being said even if it's not made 100% obvious. So you need to show a level of understanding beyond the basic words. Explain which parts of Pete Boardman's story of the return to Camp 6 you find tense and exciting. I find the first paragraph tense as it is written using short sentences and all together is a short first opening paragraph. This helps build tension. So there we've got the actual idea of the way it's put, the structural features that we've got here, and we've already noted that in our notes, like the sentence length, and this helps build tension is the effect that's actually achieved. It says he leaves his stove behind, and this makes the reader curious as to why he left the stove and was it for his friend. So the examiner's actually commented that there's a perceptive understanding there, and the student, or the candidate, sorry, has actually put the effect again. So we've got the effect there and the effect there, and actually invites us to think about things. So the inference is being made and doesn't have to conclude with it. He's just inviting us to think and just showing that he can look at multiple inferences, and that's why it's perceptive. In the second paragraph it starts with, at first we went the wrong way. This helps entice the reader and makes it more dramatic. Later on, so again we've got that, the quotation picked out, and we've got analysis of it and makes it more dramatic. There's the effect as well. Later on in the paragraph it says there was a momentary lessening in the blizzard. This is exciting, so the effect mentioned there, because it makes you think they only have a set amount of time before the blizzard starts again. That's very perceptive. As they're trying to find their friend I presume, afternoon turns into evening and it's getting dark. This also makes it tense and interesting as to what will happen next. So they're taking the idea of just the darkness coming down, actually showing that it's become tense because of the associations we make with dark, and interesting or intriguing us as to what will happen next. And obviously the association there is being actually developed from the word dark, which is picking up the focus on a word from our linguistic features, and again it's showing an understanding and interpretation. Now you'll notice that that one isn't perceptive, and that's because it's quite a simple, darkness equals bad, whereas here we came up with several conclusions. Could it be, first of all, the effect that actually had on us, and then what could it mean in terms of the story. He says his friend Patemba isn't used to moving without ropes, and you wonder if he's able to carry on. So again it's referencing part of the story, and the effect it has on us is actually mentioned as well. It makes us wonder if he's able to carry on. Later on in the text it says they find ropes. This helps keep the reader engaged by scaring them for a second, then relieving them. So that's again the effect mentioned, and also the link to the story is actually put in, because we've got the character here without ropes, and straight away they've actually mentioned a little later on. So without explicitly saying this, this is looking at the structural feature, the recurring idea of the ropes and the importance of the ropes to this character Patemba. It says They see rocks they recognize from the morning. The reader may think the climbers have gone in circles, however it's a sign that are heading in the right direction, again building tension. So the interpretation there is important, as well as the effect being outlined. They get hit by an avalanche, and for a while they don't know if they'll survive. Luckily they do. Again, this keeps the reader engaged. Then the problem is sorted, much like the problem they had with the ropes. So here we've actually managed to connect the ideas, again, as mentioned here earlier, but this is referencing it from earlier on, and the interpretations there. And you'll notice that quite a lot of the time here we've got engaged, but this one's engaged by scaring them. This one's engaged because the problem's sorted. So you can't just put it was engaging, you have to put why it was engaging, and that's where the inference comes from. Because you can just write about anything, you can't just take a stock answer of engaging. You have to develop it so that it makes more complete, you actually respond more completely to the question by saying the effect that's actually being had. Throughout the whole of this article, the reader is scared, which makes them engaged in what's happening. So the effect is being used heavily, and we'll look at just over how many points we've actually made here. And we've got 1, that's a really good paragraph, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, and that 5th one's tagged on there well, 5, 6, and then this one's just a summary. So the 6 points there. So this paragraph here, it doesn't add anything, although it's a nice conclusion. It doesn't add anything. So again, we've got 6, I think I said 6 points there that are actually just doing it. So again, like we said from our earlier videos, we want to look at 4 to 6 to make sure that we're hitting everything. This one got a 7 out of 8, and the final comment was it engages in detail with the text, perceptive interpretation, and comments. And there were a couple of instances. 2 instances I think were quite perceptive. Was this one with the link with the ropes mentioned, and earlier where we had the perceptive comment here at the beginning. So this would have got a 7 perhaps because the perceptive element wasn't shooting through it the whole way. We've had it a couple of times, which obviously puts it in that band but doesn't give it the highest marks, and that's what I'd presume. But again, a very good piece, and you can see how what we've picked out earlier is ultimately very relevant, and hopefully that was useful in your revision.